All right. Well, we haven't done it yet, Steve. Calm down. Okay, need to check and see where the wheels on my office chair are. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So it's a base that has 5 wheels on it in the 5-pointed star pattern. And I typically like to have 2 of them behind me. So that way I have a bit more stability when I lean back. Don't think I've gone ass over tea kettle while on stream, but I've come close a couple times. And there was one time I was like bending over to pick up something, and the chair just kind of like fell out from underneath me, and I was in such an awkward position that I couldn't like really quickly or quickly enough adjust the way I was sitting. So I ended up taking like a tumble onto my head from, you know, just like a couple inches off the ground, but still. When there's a couple 100 pounds behind it, getting unexpectedly stacked up on your neck can be kind of bad. All right, the dead seed. But yeah, I'm glad that Honk actually wanted to have that conversation. I think I'm probably still going to be having thoughts on the matter well into the future from this point, but I just need to not continue to have the conversation after he's no longer around to contribute to it. The one thing I will say again is Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Oblivion are really like the only games where I harp on about the graphics. There aren't really too many other games where I'll have much of anything, if anything, to say about what a game looks like. Fine, I didn't want to go up there anyways. So, this game, and the randomizer for this game, still has a lot of custom sprites that I have not used yet. And I don't think I actively have the ROMs for them. And I think, fuck, really? And I think it's at the point where I really need to just clear out all of these ROMs off of my SD card and then just get myself a whole bunch of new ones. I can probably do away with a lot of the Link to the Past ROMs that I've got. Because the big reason why I had as many of them as I did Link to the Past was a game that my brother and I would play quite frequently. And it was also a game that I would play with Honk quite frequently as well. But we have kind of moved on past that, so probably drop a bunch of those. I want to get myself a whole hell of a lot more Final Fantasy VI randomizer ROMs. I should probably check out the other FF6 randomizer that's out there besides just Abyssinim's one. Even though, like, from what I remember, Abyssinim's randomizer is so much easier to use. I'm keeping my eye on the clock at this point. Whatever. It's arcade. Pretty sure there's... Yep, an additional bombable tile there. Although, now that I'm thinking of it, revisiting a point that I brought up with Ponk, sometimes I do get a kick out of games that have really janky graphics, but it is definitely a case-by-case kind of thing. That being said, there was a game that I was thinking about playing last night. I think the name of it is Sword and Bones. And I saw the artwork in the opening cutscene, and I came to the decision that I think I need to play that one on stream. Because, oh boy, I didn't actually get into the game, but I've seen like the video on Steam, and you know, the game itself looks fine, but the artwork that's on display in the opening cutscene is just rough. Like, oh boy. Not to be rude or anything, but I think someone should have outsourced that part of their game. Right, so... this might just be the end. The unceremonious end. I can't get through here. There we go. Just have to mash your way out. Thanks for this as a fucking final rune. Jeez. Seed is dead. No, I should not play as my broken duck character. Is this the girl that does the hip thrust as a part of her idle animation? I think so. Yes. I want to get a ROM that doesn't have any of that junk on it, though. That and it's been a while since I've been Mario. So let's be Mario. And I will be right back. All right. So the other game I recently added to my collection that I think I might play during the intermission tonight is a game called Gun Crazy. And it's a neat little pixel-based run and gun. I want to double check something on Steam before I get too stuck in here. Also, I did earlier today purchase the Pixel Remaster bundle for Final Fantasy, so I've got 1 through 6 Pixel Remasters. I think there was some kind of sale going on with them. Where is Violet Cycle? Here we go. Oh, this game is tiny. It's only 306 megabytes. I need to reinstall this at some point. I only played like 15 or so minutes of it as a part of a Steam stream one night. And Violet Cycle has a unique look to it. So I'd be interested to give that a second chance. JC! Hell yes. It's a little too late to check stuff online. Because I guarantee as soon as I try, then everyone else is going to ready up. And I'm going to be stuck looking at some other dumb window besides XChat. Here I am doing it anyways. Okay. Nope, I wanted to check and see if Murphigator had done anything today, and sure enough, he did. A couple hours ago. Fun, have luck, good. Thank you, Firebat. Same to you. So I'm at least gonna have a little something to watch after the races tonight. 3, 2, 1, Let's go. Or not. Oh. I made a mistake. We don't need to reset. I am continuing to make mistakes. We still don't need to reset. I mean, realistically, three, two, one, let's go. I mean, realistically, I could skip series and just start on the planet's surface, and all three of you guys would still beat me. Let's be real here. But the other big thing was the fact that the energy level on that file was at 0, so I would have gotten into the game and instantly died. So yeah, I really think I need to clean some stuff up on this SD card. And I don't know if tonight's gonna be the night I do it, but could be. If the second ROM that I loaded up would have actually been good to go, then wouldn't have bothered with the reset, but 4306. Oh. Speaking of giving games a second chance, I think I might have to give a second chance to River City Girls, because I couldn't get past, like, the first basically level of the game, And it's a part of the game where you don't have a lot of your special fighting moves or techniques unlocked yet, but I don't know, unless part of the level up and upgrade system includes having your character move faster, I may just leave this game uninstalled for a little while. And then you take into consideration that I'm actually, like, slowly but surely getting a little bit better at Final Vendetta. I still need a better playthrough as Miller in that game, but I've gotten better at timing the juggles with Claire, and that is like a really, really strong way to play that game. Just by juggling the crap out of all of your enemies, including the bosses. But then you get to Osric at the tail end, and he just destroys you from fucking 2.5 vertical planes away. Speaking of River City Girls. It's a neat concept for a game. Speaking of neat, it's neat that I don't have to worry about this being a good run anymore. So if anyone listening is unfamiliar with River City Girls, it's the story of these two girls that were introduced in the Kunio series, or the River City series, back on the Super Nintendo version of River City Ransom. Where, like, they were just two of the extra characters. And then the developer of River City Girls decided to put a slightly different take on the franchise, the characters. But what it boils down to is these two girls are going out on a mission to save their quote-unquote boyfriends. Now, why the air quotes? Well, spoilers, but the premise of the game is that these girls are delusional. And they are just, like, wildly obsessed with Kunio and Ricky. They're not actually dating. So when you get to the end of the game, and you find out that the two guys have not been kidnapped, and the girls have just been going around town beating the crap out of everybody for really no good reason. It turns out that the guys are just, like, out at, like, a day spa, or out at a hot spring or something. And they, like, don't really have any clue who these girls are. And it's a really fitting end to that game. Because these two girls are just, like, obsessed with these guys. And they go and they get into all this trouble and all this mischief for the sake of trying to rescue their imagined boyfriends. And it's just like, oh god, who are these girls again? And I just think that it's hilarious to me. Unless, of course, you get all of like the secret collectible things, and then it turns out, oh no, see, they actually are dating. See? It's like, but it undercuts the humor. And River City Girls is a very tongue-in-cheek, very silly game to begin with. But man, mechanically speaking, the beginning of the game really does not feel good. And if it gets to that point with just about any video game where I have to like talk myself into playing it, I have to talk myself into spending time with a game, then it's really not worth it at that point. If it feels like I need to make a hard decision when it comes to playing video games, I'd really rather not, and I'd rather just play a game that I already know that I enjoy. Like again, I'd have to actively decide to reinstall River City Girls, and I'd have to, talk myself into wanting to play it. Or I could just play Final Vendetta. And really the only frustrating part of Final Vendetta is the final boss. And if you're already at the final boss, that is kind of an appropriate place for frustration to begin to sink in. Because if you're already there, then you're probably just gonna get your way through it because, fuck, I'm already here. Shit. Double shit. Triple shit. And again, now that well, because I wasn't initially going to buy all of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. I was kind of thinking about just getting 4, 5, and 6. But when I saw that it wasn't going to be that much more expensive to get all 6 of them, plus whatever bonuses came with the bundle, like soundtracks or digital art books or something, it wasn't that much more expensive. So, now that I've got those, I might actually be convinced to play all the way through Final Fantasy 1. Because that is an adventure that I have started like 2 or 3 separate times in life. And I have just never gotten around to actually sticking with it and getting all the way to the end. Remember, I got pretty far on a virtual console copy. Then that save data got lost. And the other time that I made it pretty far into Final Fantasy 1, was on a Nokia flip phone. Because, for whatever reason, an old Nokia flip phone in the early 2000s had Final Fantasy I on it. The hat makes it look like he's got a really big eye. Like a really big, angry eye. Ah, neat. That's what happens when you fuck that up. And the other Final Fantasy game I might have to go back to, now that I've got the Pixel remaster instead of just the old 3D version of it, is Final Fantasy IV. And I don't know if the Pixel remaster has the After Years content. I would kind of expect it to not have the After Years stuff, but I could be wrong. Being able to play Final Fantasy V again might be nice, but I don't know. Again, the first time I played through FF5, I needed to use character editor. I guess I didn't need to, but I did. And then, of course, Final Fantasy VI. Easily my favorite out of the whole bunch. And I've never really played that much of Final Fantasy 2 or 3. Again, I have like the old 3D version of Final Fantasy 3. I don't remember if they were... I think the PSP versions... I can never remember if it was a PSP or PS Vita. That had the 3D remakes of those games. I've got both of those on Steam, 3 and 4. But it is nice to have a consistent art style across all 6 Final Fantasy games. And I don't think that there has ever really been any intended connectivity between any of those games. I think that's the case across the whole franchise. Unless it's, you know, like direct sequels. Then obviously they're direct sequels and are supposed to be connected to the other ones. But I think like the only thing that's really connected any of the Final Fantasy games has been the magic. And until the Pixel remaster, they didn't even have consistent names for the spells. So, I do kind of want to go on for a little bit about trying to get Oblivion running properly on my laptop and how it is not an experience that is worth it to me. Because first and foremost, I actually have to have my graphics all the way down, or else when I hit pause, when I pause the game and I enter my inventory, my character is just all black. Just rendered pitch blackness. And I know that doesn't, like, really matter that much, but, you know, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather have it work as intended. And I tried to use Steam's virtual controller functionality, and since Oblivion, like, partially works with controller, a lot of, like, button crossover was happening, and a lot of double inputs, and it was just maddening trying to get through that first section of the game like that. And again, because of my physical setup, because I don't have an actual computer desk, you know, I have a desk, but it's not a computer desk. I thought I shot the thing and then collected it, game. What the fuck? That's why I looked away. But it means I've got, like, this TV tray that I have my mouse on that's completely separate from the desk. And I have it set a certain ways away so that I can move around and twist in my office chair so that I could, you know, grab something off of my little end table behind me, or so I can turn and mess with my keyboard when I have it up on the end of my bed. But I usually have, like, a drink set on this TV tray, and I've only ever knocked my drink over, like, twice. I'm kind of proud of that, because I think that my big dumb clunky ass would have done it a lot more than just that. But in order to play mouse-driven games, I have to drag this table, this TV tray, maybe like a foot closer to my chair, so that I'm not, like, reaching and stretching constantly. You know, if I'm just using the mouse to click around every once in a while on a website, that's fine. It's not that much of a strain. But if I'm playing something like Terraria for multiple hours, I need to have that thing closer so that I can rest, like, the majority of my arm on it. So I'm not potentially overstretching my arm, or so I'm not causing undue fatigue to my arm just from stretching too much. Well, that's not good. Did I at least hit him with 2? Yes. Okay. So we can still make this work. Got him. Thought I had him. And like I was telling Ponk earlier, last night I tried to play Terraria with a controller, and I could not figure out how to open my inventory. Like, you just can't with a controller. And I was a little bit frustrated by that. And then I was just like, fine. Drag the TV tray a little closer. Spent a couple hours getting built up to the platinum level. That's usually where I cut off my first play session of Terraria with a new character in a new world. You know, I get started, get some basic resources, build a little house, get my copper, get my iron, get my silver, get my gold, or whatever the analogs are for the other flavors of materials. Like, instead of silver, you could have tungsten. Instead of gold, you could have platinum. Instead of iron, you could get lead. So usually by the time I get up to golden equipment or platinum equipment, I usually find that's a good place to stop for that session. Then just get going on some other night. I'm once again playing on journey mode as well, because I like the idea of having to collect a certain amount of certain resources before you can just copy it ad nauseum. But I also like not needing like an external inventory, like with treasure chests. I like being able to just open up the menu and be like, okay, well, I need to make something out of this resource. So you just open up the menu and grab it real quick, instead of, okay, well now I need to, you know, leave the house, I need to walk across the landscape for 5 minutes or so to get over to this part of the world that has this particular resource I need. Nah. You just collect like 200 of just about anything. as far as like the blocks are concerned. Then you can just copy them from your inventory. Same thing with money. Which, you know, it's nice to play that game without having to worry about whether or not you can afford something. But also, it had just been way, way, way too long since the last time I had played Terraria. Oh no! MM2 forfeited. Well, hopefully the good thing that comes of that is I'll actually be able to get some SRL points tonight. Firebat, you need to quit going the wrong way. That's something I'm allowed to do. And by allowed, I mean not allowed. But I end up doing it anyways, multiple times. Also, saw a run from SGDQ. I need to go back and watch the VOD of, because it's the guy that was playing Totally Rad. I think he beats the game in under 20 minutes. I'm kind of curious to see how he do that. I forget. I don't think I've ever actually timed one of my runs. And if I did, it was well before I started streaming. That would have been way back when, like, before I even repurchased, or I guess I should say before I even purchased my NES, and I was still playing games off of a Retro Duo. Fun fact, the only Retro Duo, or the only NES game that I could not get to work on the Retro Duo was Battletoads. Small price to pay. I am not very good at Battletoads, so it was not a game that I played a whole lot of to begin with. But everything else seemed like it worked just fine on that little thing. But then my local used game store had an NES, so I bought an NES. I wanted to get a top loader, but they didn't have a top loader at the time. They had a front loader. And I still have that thing, I just haven't plugged it in a couple years. And I don't really need to, because not only do I have my pair of modded Wiis, but I also have the NES Classic. So and from everything I've heard, it's easy as hell to modify those things. I still need to mod my new 3DS. Also not a fan of it when they just add new onto the name of a console, like with the new 3DS. Or new Ghostbusters 2. Even though new Ghostbusters 2 is one of the greatest Ghostbusters games out there, in my opinion. But then again, I'm not a fan of most Ghostbusters games that are out there. I think I've gone on about this in the past, but new Ghostbusters 2 and Sanctum of Slime are really the only Ghostbusters games that I like. I think it was... I want to say it was Activision that made the two other Ghostbusters games that are on the NES, and they look like Pitfall. Whereas new Ghostbusters 2 has a very kind of cute, chibi style to it. And Sanctum of Slime was a PSN dual-stick shooter. So needless to say, it didn't look like Pitfall. And yeah, I mean like the Atari Pitfall. Not even like a more modern version of it. I still think, though, one of the last things I said on the subject of Oblivion on my Discord was that if I ever really feel like playing that game ever again, then I think I need to just go out to my local used game store and pick up a used PS3 copy. Because then I don't have to worry about having to play it on just mouse and keyboard. And I won't have to worry about messing around with the graphics, because all that shit is just set on the console version. The only thing is, I wouldn't have the ever so delightful console commands that you get with the PC version of Bethesda games. Wonder if I should have mentioned that to Ponk during our conversation. That yeah, I do have over 100 hours in Oblivion, but I played through that, like, the entire time I played through that game, I was in God mode. That's just something that I do with Bethesda games the first time I play through them. So I turn on God mode so I don't have to deal with repeating content because I accidentally got into a fight with something that I shouldn't have. That's still largely the way I play, like, Fallout 4 and Morrowind. Skyrim is really the only one of those games where I don't feel any real benefit from having God mode turned on. Plus, after I got my way through the Daggerfall mod as many times as I have, I think getting over that little speed bump told me, it's like, no, I can beat this game without having to be in God mode. Like, it helps, but you know, if you have the difficulty down low enough, there's no reason besides user error that you would end up getting killed in Skyrim. And that one point in the Daggerfall mod, in the Mantellan Crux, or it's at least in Aetherius right before the Mantellan Crux. I forget. Oh, and I'm dumb. I'm on autopilot. But yeah, there's one moment in that particular level, right near the end, where if you click on the wrong thing, your character just automatically dies. Plus, you're also in a room filled with lots of Dremora wizards. They're just like constantly shooting lightning bolts at you. So it's real easy to end up getting your ass kicked in there before you can find a safe spot. I think I just need to track down someone's playthrough of Daggerfall and watch the ending. Because the one other video I've seen that has footage from the ending of Daggerfall is not like a contiguous playthrough. It's just showing highlights during an analysis video. I guess I could check that guy's second channel. And maybe see if he's got a channel here on Twitch that has some VODs. But yeah, have not heard anything more about Sky Oblivion other than they're still planning on releasing it at some point this year. We're starting to run out of time in this year, though. And I hope they didn't get a cease and desist from Bethesda. That would just be terrible. take away the version of Oblivion I would actually want to play so that Bethesda can overcharge for a fucking graphical remaster. Yes, I know that Re-Oblivion does do some other stuff besides just remastering the graphics, but he's very dead at this point, by the way. Just waiting for him to come down and pick me up. Oh no! Gosh dang it, Firebat, that's really going the wrong way. Well, should have picked those up. Now I'm not even gonna get third place. Couldn't show my memes even if I wanted to. Got sniped with 20 and 9? Oh no. God damn. That sucks. That really sucks. I cannot keep passing up super missiles. It's not like this is going to be a good run. Oh my god, baby jumps. I can't keep passing these up. The game is gonna punish me. I need to start watching Super Metroid again. I just need to start watching this game again. I need to pick someone and just watch them play this. And not, like, I mean, I know Zos still plays this, but I don't know how much he does any percent anymore. And plus, there's only so much that I feel like that I would actually be able to put into practice from watching his stuff. But I think that's mostly just because he's kind of one of the old gods of this game. And because, well, like the original 6 or 7 people that I used to watch play this just do not stream anymore. Just at all. I never see them anymore. Whoops. This is Spike. Old Spike Black. Disappeared years and years and years ago. Garrison doesn't stream anymore. MSDS doesn't stream anymore. I think I've seen Cassius stream like once in the past couple of years. DBX, Frozen Cup, I don't see them stream anymore. So I just have to pick someone in the new crop. Maybe just pick someone that I've never even watched before. I think I need to find someone that is like learning any percent. So I think I need to search by people playing Super Metroid. And just see if I can find someone that's still in the real early stages of learning the game. Because I'll tell you what, watching that low percent ice race from GDQ, not only was it a lot of fun because it was a really, really close race, but it was nice to get little refreshers, little informational refreshers about things in this game that maybe it has been a long enough amount of time since I initially heard them where I was kind of beginning to question whether or not I was getting that particular piece of information right. By the way, if anyone out there hasn't seen the low percent ice race from Summer Games Done Quick this year, I definitely recommend it. Because honestly, it really reminded me of the times when I've watched back multiple races of mine at the same time, because, you know, they had like the same finishing time. So I'm watching them side by side, and it's kind of crazy to see how the lead can just swap back and forth so quickly because of like one or two little things. But then you add on top of it the fact that it's two incredible runners doing an incredibly hard category. I'm a puddle. Okay. There we go. Swear that's what I did the first time, but whatever. This game is just gonna make its own interpretations, I guess. Always has. Subpixel fuckery. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Not if that one would have hit me, though. Mother Brain gave me a haircut with that ketchup. Yep, this drink is now covered in condensation, and it is no longer cold. Shouldn't have even bothered opening it. At least it finally dipped below 80 degrees. Not in my apartment, just outside. Hey there, Baron of Red. That's not how I spell done. I almost put in a dot ready. Really also think I need to get my other office chair. So that one has like a mesh back to it instead of a solid one. It would help with air circulation around my person. So we had a 5640 for a dot time, which is kind of aggravating, given the number of dumb mistakes that have been all over this run. So, probably gonna be... I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be a really low 59. Like, under 59.10. Just don't know how far under that 10-second mark it would be. Shit. Am I the sole survivor? Oh my god, I am. I didn't see that JC forfeited before MM2. Hot damn. I better be getting SRL points tonight. Oh, dude, I would be so mad, but also not surprised at all if I still managed to lose SRL points tonight. All right, I I really need to get uh, one of these wipes. Need to actually clean off all this smudgy bullshit that is all over this particular part of my little dry erase board. And then I either need a new eraser for the dry erase board, or I need to cut it again. 'Cause it is just super duper smudgy. Somehow, I don't think trying to use this wipe on the eraser is gonna give me the results that I want. Well, thank you for the GGs. Oh my god. Dude, that is heartbreaking. Oh, that sucks. That sucks, man. Dang. Oh yeah, plus 13. That should take out the past couple of weeks worth of results. Dear Force! Back up to 31. I've got to do the Zosty Bop to get back into the green. Don't know if it's going to happen. But since he doesn't really race on SRL anymore, it is a better chance of happening than just about anything else, I guess. Huh. I avoided the dry spot on the tip of the marker. Usually whenever I draw an 8, I always hit that dry spot when I'm like swooping back up to finish it off. All right. I actually get to close that because you have too much history to actually gain points, right? To close out of Rainwave because I was thinking about playing something on Steam. need to open OBS back up. We did it, but not too much because we only did it once. Open up my PC layout. And which one of that's the logo I'm looking for? Click that. Also found my PNG tuber maker program. Um, and I can actually load GIFs into it. So my dumb little idea of having Shy Guy like kind of rocking back and forth while I'm talking might actually happen, but I'm not quite sure how to use this particular program yet. So I have to get that figured out, and it might just be a dumb little pipe dream for right now. All right, this might be a little loud, so there's your warning. Okay, not too bad. I'm gonna drop the SFX a little bit. No, that's loud. Thought the title screen had music. Either way, um, I need to go get my drink refreshed, and I will be back in just a little bit, and we will get going. Just in case anyone's curious, I should probably get Poppy taken down, and I should probably figure out how to capture this. Hmm. Should probably get it resized to the window. There we go. So yeah, be right back. Okay, so I might still need to do a little adjusting on the volume, but we can do that once I am in the game. Drop it down like to the halfway point. All right, let's get going. Oh, I guess I could have opened up the control screen. So that's my character. You have to hold start to exit for a long time. Also, yeah, that's how they manage the controls. Anyways, yeah, it's still a little on the loud side for me. Better. What was my dash? B button. Okay. Can't blow that one up, but I can blow these up. And if you get close enough to stuff, you can punch it. Also, I don't think there are health drops in this game. Like, I don't think you can actually refill your health. Sometimes damage just seems like it's unavoidable. Here's a boss. I guess I don't need to mash. To remember I have an air dash, or just a regular dash. Oh, but don't worry, this game has unlimited continues. Unlimited punches. The only unfortunate thing when you die is this girl lets out a fucking screech. Yep, there you go. I jumped instead of dashing. Proof that I've been actually damaging him during this fight? There he goes. Unfortunately, I can't air dash up. Ugh. Fat fingered the fucking dash button. Alright, this is the last boss in level 1. Still not exactly sure where these hitboxes think they are. God, I'm gonna end up game overing. Yup. Right before he died, too. Neat. It's another game like Earthworm Jim, where because of its aiming mechanic, it's real easy to take damage just all over the place. Because you can't adjust your aim slightly. And my hitbox is apparently much bigger than I think it is. I never said that I was good at this game. I just said that I liked it. I don't even know if I said that. I think all I said was that I was gonna play it. A lot of shit going on. Yeah, I'm getting pinned in way too easily here. Not moving around enough. Oh, this fucking boss. Yep. I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to dodge that. There's a lot of stuff that this boss does that I'm not exactly sure how to get around it. I think I might just need to dash more. There we go. Yeah, this game feels like it is taking a lot of the Gunstar Heroes formula. I need to play the Game Boy Advance Gunstar Heroes. Tried to dodge a bullet by jumping into another bullet. Did not work out well. Too close to him. Well, round spot. Yeah, Gunstar Heroes is one of the best games on the Genesis, in my opinion.
Let's go!
Treasure knew how to make really good video games. Can't backtrack. And I don't know what those things down there are, but eventually they just blow off. That bullet didn't hit me. Okay. I really like the background on this level. I have no idea what I'm looking at besides just like abstract architecture, but it looks really neat. And I like the color scheme for it. Caught it with my teeth.
Go.
Neat. Need to keep an eye on the time. Well, the music cut out. So I figured the boss was coming up. Who the hell's this guy again? Damn it. Oh, that's not good. Remember, one of those little particles goes pretty much horizontal once it breaks off. Oh, wow. I thought I died a lot more than that in my first playthrough. Apparently you can game over in this. Son of a bitch, who'd have known? Alright. I think I still had another level to play after that one, too, so it's not like we were that close to the end. Fun game. Can be a little bit hard to get used to where the where the hitboxes think they are. But yeah, like I said, you have unlimited continues and there's no consequence for death with all the fucking confidence in the world. Because I really thought that I died more than that in my first playthrough. But anyways, it's not important. Gives me plenty of time to make sure I'm ready for the race. I didn't see that coming either. I'm not gonna say it a third time. Maybe I got like an extend from reaching a certain score total in my first playthrough. Well, I learned something here tonight. Oh yeah, I need to get out of the old race channel. And I need to get into the new one. And I haven't updated my list of names in the hat, but I am going to ask the hat who I should play as. Let's get that opened up, and fuck it. Diddy? Can I have a second opinion? King Graham. What if I actually ask the hat? I mean, is Tillamorth in the race? This is who I see him using all the time. Okay, it wanted me to use Diddy. We can do that. I will restate that Diddy is not one of my favorites. I think it's a really well done sprite, and I like it a whole lot. But I think I gave Diddy D tier on my super serious tier list. Where is that dumb thing? Oh, it's not any of that. Most certainly none of that. Let's see, it's probably under SM... Nope, it's under Totally Serious SM Varia Sprite tier list. Can I just pop this up on stream real quick? There we go. Oh no, I gave Diddy C tier. That's good. So, when I initially made this, it was, well, this is the second version. But F tier is the sprites that I don't like and I don't use. E tier, I have some kind of complaint about the sprite. And at first, it was, Margatroyd is on E tier because first time I played as that sprite, I was really thrown off by the fact that she doesn't spin and that her jump and her spin jump look almost the exact same, if not the exact same. It's been a while since I've used her, so it's kind of hard for me to remember. Link and Luigi are just... I feel like they could have been... I feel like they could have been drawn a bit differently. I don't exactly know how, but I was just not really a fan of the way they looked. 140 is just fucking confusing and I don't know what I'm looking at. And Master Hand, his run cycle has a really distracting, like, bob to it. Oh, I remember what my deal with Sans was. His damage sprite is, in my personal opinion, not different enough from just his regular sideways facing sprite. D tier is just... They're good, but there's like nothing really special about them. C tier is like funny sprites that are kind of distracting with how funny they are. They kind of like, they take me out of the game and they're a little distracting because of how funny they are. B tier is pretty much like the baseline that I start with. A tier is they've got something special going on with them that separates them from B tier. And S tier, those are my favorites. Most of them either have something going on with them that I really like they've got a really cool space jump or screw attack sprite, or they're big chunky sprites like the Sprite Can or the Windows 95 cursor, or like the Inkling Girl and the GF Trooper, like those two specifically. They are so close to Samus's normal sprite, in particular their foot placement. So if you have any visual cues that use Samus's foot placement as your visual cue, you can use Inkling Girl or GF Trooper no problem, and you can still use those same visual cues. Tetris Block, he's a good boy. He's another one of the big chunky sprites. The Among Us crewmate and Bob, I think, are also like perfect fits for Super Metroid, and they really don't seem like they're out of place. Even though the crewmate is really, really cartoony, And the rest of this game is not necessarily that cartoony. Again, since he's just a little spaceman, he feels right at home in Super Metroid. Cuphead is a really good sprite. That version of Mario is a really good sprite. Maria, I think she's got... Yeah, she's got her animal friends. So I think, like, she turns into some kind of a bird for Space Jump, and she turns into a cat for Morph Ball. Mega Man X has always been one of my favorites for this. And the Zelda 2 Link. The Zelda 2 Link is really, really good. Can't say enough good things about the ones on top there. But now, we have so many more options that not only is that tier list out of date, it's so out of date that I need to go and get more screenshots from the Varia site because I don't have screenshots of a lot of the new characters on offer. Hold on, what's this clickbait real quick? Oh. I knew the first part of this clickbait headline because it's something that Punk mentioned to me earlier, that Stardew Valley has just recently become the highest rated game on Steam. Couldn't happen to a better video game. I adore Stardew Valley. But I didn't know the game that it beat out to become the highest rated game on Steam. Apparently it beat out Portal 2. And, I mean, Portal 2 was a lot of fun. But, yeah, give that top spot to Stardew, please. Oh, I still need to play as GT Samus. That's the one that I was trying to remember. It's like, I know there's a new custom Samus, in addition to all of the new customs. But I forgot that it was... It's basically GT with an arm cannon. But yeah, like, I don't have Cat on the list. I don't think I have Pliskin or Fight on the list. Someone gave Mega Man X a beard. Charizard's not on the list. Cacodemon is not on the list. So... I have some work to do. Okay. I have energy at 99 for all of my files. That's good. It's a good start. And I'm just gonna get started right now. You guys don't mind. Again, I could have a fucking 5-minute head start and I'd still get smoked. Alright, right before I take my restroom break, I want to reopen Murph's VOD from earlier tonight, and I want to see what he was playing. Hachu! Oh, I don't know this game. I think I've seen him play it before, but it would be like only once. Alright, it looks like he was just... I think he's doing 1 credit clear practice on that. That's what he's been doing lately, is practicing certain arcade games to get a 1 credit clear, because it's kind of his thing. Anyways, I'll be right back. All right. Let's get ready to get ready. But yeah, I've really been enjoying Murphigator's streams lately. Just finding out about all these cool arcade games that I had previously not known about. And then every once in a while, he just decides to crush the bejesus out of Final Fight, and that's always fun to watch. There we go, 4 racers again. What a world. And I'm so glad that I caught the link to Murphigator's alternate YouTube channel where he's got his VODs of the Belt Scroller Academy that he's been doing. So I have really, really enjoyed those streams. So that's him playing all the way through the particular game and then summarizing it and giving it a letter grade. I don't know how many games he's given an A to. Maybe like 2? I think maybe he gave an A to Final Fight and maybe Double Dragon? Maybe like Double Dragon 2? Fun, have, luck, good. Thank you, Firebat. Same to you. Hey, I know this song. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Need to play some Cokerone again sometime soon. I need to do like a separate stream for Cokerone one of these days because I know that I mention it every once in a while, but I never show off the fact that all of the levels in that game connect to each other, and not just in the order in which I play them. And there's always, like, some kind of different transition between the levels, depending on, you know, which one you're starting in and which one you're going to. Like, because of the route that I take, the level called the Milk Sea is just a cave. You know, it's not actually like, it's not a sea. You're just in like this giant cheese cave. $40.88. Yuck. And like on the overworld screen in Cokerone, you can actually see like teeny tiny little little hints as to what the transition between the stages is going to look like. You can also just go back to the player's house in the middle of the screen as well. Not sure why I turned around and ran back towards the door. I didn't think I was holding right. Maybe I was. I feel like I should show off the rest of the different level transitions in Cokerone. And I should probably also show off some of the other weapons I don't know about using those grenade weapons, though. Like flower and crystal? I'm really not sure about those. They really don't feel as good to use as the other weapons in that game. The pencil, of course, being my favorite. Pencil is the triple shot in that game. But you've also got, like, the baseball, which is... I think it's got more projectiles than... Well, I'm pretty sure it's got more projectiles than pencil. But pencil will actually, like, shoot through walls. Whereas baseball does not. Baseball will just tink right off of the wall. Or it'll, like, roll up hills. Parasol is the shot that kind of shoots up at a real gradual angle, real gradual, like, circular angle. Oh, what else am I forgetting? Ninja Star. Oh god, yeah. Pretty sure Ninja Star is the strongest weapon in Kokorone. Unless it gets beaten out by one of the grenade weapons if you hit it right. The issue I have with Ninja Star is it shoots in 3 different directions. Instead of, like, all of them following, like, the same basic path. One shoots straight up, one shoots out in front, and the other one shoots behind. So you have to, like, kind of clip into bosses if you want all of those to hit all at once. Which isn't always a problem. What does become a problem is when you need to shoot quickly, and you've still got a whole bunch of ninja stars that are still on the screen. I need to try getting this wall jump off of that left wall instead of the right one. Because I think I've seen that happen. And that might actually be a little bit easier to do. I don't know. Good damage sprite. Okay, yeah, G.I. Joe: The Atlantis Factor. I was actually watching a long play of this. It was a couple days ago. It's a cool game. If I'm remembering right, both the G.I. Joe games on NES were, like, better than average. And I can never remember if the good James Bond Jr. game is on NES or Super NES. Part of me wants to say it's the SNES one. because I remember, like, being surprised at that. Because one of my favorite things that I will come back to is that I feel like the NES overall has a better catalog of games than the Super NES because they're more consistent. It's like what Ponk was talking about when he was wrapping up his thoughts on our Oblivion and Skyrim conversation, where the NES, I feel, has a more consistent level of quality, whereas the Super NES has some all-time classics, but the bad stuff on the Super Nintendo is just garbage. I mean, the NES has more than its fair share of junk as well, but I feel like it doesn't have as much as the Super Nintendo, and a lot of people just kind of look over that stuff because you've got some games on the Super Nintendo that have stood the test of time by this point, and, you know, have proven themselves through re-releases and remasters to be, you know, fantastic video games. I mean, I'm playing one of them right now. This game is one of the biggest influences on an entire genre of games. And I will never, ever forget that one guy on Twitch. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to throw him under the bus. But he got so pissy with someone in his chat one night over the term Metroidvania. I think he wanted to use the term Metroid clone. My counterpoint to that is not everybody's first Metroidvania was a Metroid game. There's a reason why Vania is in that word. Some people's first game like this was Soten. You gonna tell them that they're wrong? Oh, you should have played this game first. What if they weren't alive yet? Or what if they weren't aware enough to play video games? You know, what if toddler? Also remembering that one of my big complaints about the Diddy Kong sprite is he doesn't have an arm pump. He does when he's crouching, but he has, like, no visible angle up or angle down sprites while he's standing. So that means you can't get the visual feedback from arm pumping. Which is a complicated way for me to say, so that means you can't dance. I've had that guy join me in the hole way too many times lately. I think it might only be twice, but that's still too many times.
Man, this regular show video game has some good music, but I don't know a single thing about it other than it's a video game of the regular show. And I was not a fan of that show when I watched it. Or, you know, the handful of times that I've watched it. I don't know, something happened to Cartoon Network's sense of humor in the 2000s. I think it's mostly because I was a fan of a lot of their original run of cartoons. Their mainstays like Ed, Edd n Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Johnny Bravo. I Am Weasel was super hit or miss for me. Dexter's Lab had some really good moments as well, but I didn't think it was as funny as some of the other shows. And Powerpuff Girls was just a great cartoon in general, and I'm sad that I didn't get that CWJ to actually do anything for me except land me in the fucking soup. Also, if I could consistently hit CWJs like that, might be able to do something at Moat. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? What's the cartoon from that first group that I'm forgetting about? Because Billy and Mandy came along later. There was something that ran alongside I Am Weasel. And I don't remember what it was. Because, yeah, Billy and Mandy came along later. Chowder came along later than that. I might as well mention Camp Lazlo, even though I didn't really like that show. Oh, there was that one show with the dumb kid pirate that I don't remember the name of. I was not really a fan of that show either. Then after all of that, it was when Gumball showed up. Gumball had its moments. It had some really, really funny moments, not gonna lie. Oh! I remember the show I've been forgetting, Cow and Chicken. It didn't run alongside I Am Weasel. It was just made by the same guy. That's right. And they shared a number of characters. Where am I going? I need Ice Beam. And I have not actually watched Cartoon Network in a couple of years at this point because I do not have cable. I don't want cable because I don't want to pay for a fuck ton of channels that I'm never going to watch. Besides, pretty much everything that I enjoy watching is on YouTube anymore. Shit. I see Ayers Rock from Top Gear 2 coming up on Rainwave, but I also see that it's not going to get played because I have a request coming up next. Don't know how to rectify that situation. I'll have to put it on my list, like, during bowling or something. Oh, that's my TV shutting off on me. It wasn't even doing the lower brightness thing. At least not that I noticed. Back to cartoons. Found a YouTube channel recently called Looney Stuff that re-uploads old Looney Tunes cartoons, which I am happy for. They just did a Daffy Duck cartoon where he was playing the Masked Avenger, out to capture Nasty Canasta. I forget the actual name of the cartoon, but I found that channel because I was trying to find the Daffy Duck cartoon where he knocks himself goofy somehow and has a dream where he's Duck Tracy. Because I was trying to remember all of the goofy villain characters that show up in that cartoon. Because, like, the only one I could remember was Neon Noodle. It's also, like, a shockingly brutal Daffy Duck cartoon. Because he traps all of the villains in a closet, and then he just empties a fucking Tommy gun into the closet door. And they all just fall out one right after another like dominoes. As long as I hit 2. Yep, got him. Actually got him. Not, I thought I got him. Not, I think I got him. No, I got him. Tiny monkey. I want those 2 extra power bombs. But yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've really, really liked the original Looney Tunes. That's why I have more of a knowledge about a lot of those old Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny cartoons than I do of, like, The Simpsons. Glad none of that worked out the way I wanted it to. And of course, I've mentioned this time and again, but my favorite cartoons from any era in all of my experience have been Tom and Jerry. No question. I've always loved the slapstick physical comedy and the sight gags of Tom and Jerry. Well, I got my revenge on the Atomic, but doesn't do me any good for the rest of the room. And I think it's probably another point that I've made on stream before when talking about cartoons, but much like I was saying earlier about the NES and Super NES video game catalogs, that same idea, for me, applies to Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. I think that Rocko was way more consistently funny, whereas Ren and Stimpy had higher highs, but much lower lows. I don't remember when Rocko premiered on Nickelodeon, but I definitely remember watching Nickelodeon before Rocko's Modern Life was a thing. So I would have had to have been sometime in the early 90s. Maybe even the mid-90s? I mean, I'd have to look it up. And I don't feel like looking it up. Not right now, anyways. didn't get to see a lot of like the other really popular cartoons from the time period that consistently, because I never could remember when certain cartoons were scheduled to come on. Like, I did not ever remember when, like, X-Men would come on. But, you know, if I would have been able to remember that, I would have seen a lot more of that show back in the day. Even though I still ended up seeing a lot of it. Ended up catching a fair amount of, like, Spider-Man and Batman animated series. It wasn't until years and years later that I found out that, like, Silver Surfer and Iron Man had their own animated series, or that the Hulk had an animated series. Never knew any of that when I was a kid. I'd catch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles every once in a while, and something I noticed as a kid was that the voice actor for Raphael kept changing. At one point, he had the same voice actor as Garfield from Garfield and Friends, which I loved that show. Because I unironically liked Garfield when I was a kid. It wasn't necessarily a comic strip that was laugh out loud funny, but I still got a kick out of how much of a smartass Garfield was. Not sure how that last super hit him. Clocked him in the back of the head. Dead? Oh, he's very dead. When he's still moving that slow after I've hit him that many times, oh yeah, we're just waiting for him to be dead. The one cartoon show I remember really liking as a kid was a G.I. Joe knockoff called Mask. And it wasn't until I saw this video on YouTube showing like some of the best intro songs for cartoons from the 80s. That's where I found out about like Ring Raiders. Or the fact that they made a TV show for Pole Position. I don't know, maybe they made a video game about the cartoon. The first place I had ever heard of Pole Position was the racing game. But the one cartoon from that era that I definitely tried to catch as much of as I could was Thundercats. It's the right combination of sci-fi and fantasy. I didn't necessarily need all of the characters to be furries, but, you know. What are you gonna do? almost every cartoon almost has some kind of anthro critter. I mean, Disney had like 3 or 4 different ones that were all ducks. You had Donald Duck, you had DuckTales, you had Darkwing Duck, and the Mighty Ducks. I'm trying to think if there were more than that, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And I was not, like, a big Disney fan when I was a kid. I thought the humor on those shows was a little bit tame. Especially when compared to stuff like Rocko's Modern Life or Ren and Stimpy. Well, there was Chip and Dale and there was Tailspin, but those didn't have ducks as main characters. So that's kind of shooting past the point I was going for. Well, good. No one's died yet, and I hope I didn't just jinx it. Dude, jump out from underneath the thing. Oh man, another old TV show that I wish I would have been able to catch more consistently as a kid was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. If for no other reason than to see the old Legend of Zelda cartoon. So I ended up getting a DVD box set, well, both of the DVD box sets for the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. But ended up selling those off with a bunch of other things when I didn't have a job and I really wanted to buy a specific video game. Thankfully, that specific video game was 3D Game Heroes, and it was only $40 brand new. So I got to spend the rest of the money on gas for my car and food for my stomach. Funny thing about that period of time is I did not own my own PS3 yet. I just had the one game. pretty sure that's the copy. Now that I think about it, that's not the same copy that I've got right now. Because I think that copy either ended up getting lost or damaged somehow. Or I stopped living with someone that had a PS3 at the time. Or they sold their PS3 or something. It's been ages ago, and no part of that equation is really that important. Because I've got my own PS3 now. I've got a copy of 3D Game Heroes. I have yet to actually plug this shit in and make sure it still works. I do have a free spot on my splitter right now. And I guess I've had one ever since my Xbox stopped working. I have no excuse. It's like my favorite game that I've played the least of over the years. Easily my favorite From Software game. Better not say that too loudly, or my copy of Kingsfield 3 will hear me and kick my ass for talking shit. Because there were a couple people on Twitch within like a close time proximity to each other that both did playthroughs of the Kingsfield games. And watching Kingsfield 3 really, like, kind of blew my mind. Because I had only ever played, like, 5 or 10 minutes of Kingsfield 3 just to make sure that the disc worked. I did not know how big that game was. And it wasn't until I saw Madular's video on the Kingsfield series that I ever stopped to think, oh hey, I might actually really like these games. Yeah, they're hard. Yeah, they're slow. Yeah, it's on PS1. But there's a lot of cool shit to be seen in those games. Pretty sure the only ones that I own are Kingsfield 3 and Kingsfield 4. Kingsfield 4 is not numbered, it's just called Kingsfield the Ancient City. And I don't own Shadow Tower, but that might be an interesting one at some point to play. Even if it's just for like a half hour until, you know, I get frustrated with how hard that game is. God, Ridley, please. You're dead. What? You're dead. Quit not being dead. You're dead. How did his tail not hit me? I need to learn that mock ball strat for that room with the side hoppers. The spiky side hoppers. I don't remember what they're actually supposed to be called. I wish Twitch chat had the one bit of functionality from the old Hitbox chat where you could just post GIFs in the chat. Like, you could just post pictures in the chat, not just emotes. But, like, you would link to a picture and it would just show the picture in the chat. That would be the best way to remake the SM bad command. Where instead of just, like, mentioning the enemy's name, it would show a picture. Let's see. What other cartoons do I wish I would have watched more of as a kid, besides The Simpsons? Really, I think that's the big one. Because there were also a lot of cartoons that I just, like, didn't know about until, like, years later. Until, like, my teenage years. And by that point, I was kind of not as interested in cartoons. Oh, people have been finishing the race, and I have not been noticing. So I am lost in my own little world here. Okay, so we got E. Holden taken first with a 44.45. We have Toaster taken second with a 48.47. You know what, Rainwave? Thank you for the reminder. Here's two cartoons that I wish I would have watched more of as a kid. The Street Fighter cartoon and the Mega Man cartoon. I guess in that same vein, I wish I would have seen more of Captain N, the Game Master. There was a Mortal Kombat cartoon that I ended up seeing a whole lot of. It was like the USA Network had this cartoon block, and that's where I would see Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat cartoons. And it wasn't just those two, but I forget what the other ones were. There was a Wildcats cartoon. I don't remember how long that was around for, but I think that might have also been a part of the USA Action bundle. And then there's the other SWAT Cats. There we go. I ended up seeing a fair amount of that cartoon. But really, at a certain point, I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna watch my taped versions of Saturday anime from the Sci-Fi Channel. You know, let's watch Vampire Hunter D for the third time this week. Or Demon City Shinjuku. And of course, how can I forget, especially after the awesome music video that I saw on YouTube. You know, another viewing of good old Project Echo. All right. There we go. You better hold that ketchup. Not series is my least practiced area. Okay. All right, get my dot Timmy. I think it's because a lot of my time as a kid was spent either doing homework or playing video games. That I never really like had too many favorite cartoons as a kid. Besides like Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry, because it seemed like that stuff was always on. It was always on somewhere. Whether it was like Nickelodeon or TBS, TNT. Seemed like someone was always running those. It's like trying to remember what grade I was in when we got a copy of Chrono Trigger. I think I was in 4th grade. And that game threw me for a fucking loop when I was a kid. Fly, monkey, fly. 57:44. Don't retype your time, dummy. Just put in a GG. See, I had a dot time of 55:34. So yeah, about 2 minutes and 10 seconds from the end of the run is when that dot time comes in. Still needs to be lower though. This was 1 minute and 11 seconds faster than the 9. Clack. Boy, I have not had to redraw any numbers tonight. It makes me feel good.
Thanks for the races. Hey there, JC. Thank you for the GG. Well, thank you, JC. I've put some work in on it. It took me a while to kind of get all the pieces put together. Because, like, in my first couple of years of streaming, I just did the real simple game feed takes up most of the stream space, and just have a little timer or a little chat window off on one side. But that was when I was somehow able to stream on this netbook that I have that ran like absolute garbage. It might have been on my brother's old laptop, but either way, computer that ran like garbage. But once I got my custom PC put together, I started having the ability to mess around with it a bit. Dear Force! But yeah, I'm glad you like it. Well, thank you. I'm I'm a really big fan of the that really saturated blue in the background and the really bright orange borders on the windows. Really like that. And I'm really glad I found that Friday GIF. And the little dancing Samus on the bottom got me mentioned on Reddit, which is one of the few times I've ever intentionally gone to that website for any reason. I don't think... Let me check something real quick. Oh, I have not changed this particular layout since Christmas. There's a reason why it's on fire. Original, that GIF probably predates Reddit. I'm sure it does. The first time I had ever seen it was after I had started streaming. Oh, Rainwave died. Well, that's a good time for me to say we did it. Hooray.
Is it gonna come back? Do I have to make it come back? There we go. Okay. Yes, that is gonna wrap things up for me tonight. A big, big thank you to Ponk for hanging out earlier tonight, and for the big long discussion that we had about my inebriated rant towards the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. The Spark Notes. I tried to play Oblivion a couple nights ago, and it was a terrible experience. I was just not feeling it, and ended up drinking a bit much, a bit quick. So just went on Discord and bitched and bitched and bitched about Oblivion for the longest time. And I'll be clear, I don't completely dislike that game, but there's a lot of stuff about it that I don't like, including the fact that I can't get it running on a laptop that's only a handful of years old. I should say, I can't get it running optimally on this laptop. It's really funny. If I turn on HDR, the whole screen is just black. Apparently my graphics card doesn't like that shit. But yeah, Ponk and I had a good discussion about that. We definitely don't see eye to eye on all the points we brought up, and we had to agree to disagree on a lot of things. But like I told him, if we just agreed with each other on everything, wouldn't that be kind of boring? It's nice to have someone to bounce ideas off of, whose opinion you very much respect. And of course, a big thank you to Insane Firebat and everybody else from the races here tonight. Had a 4-man race in each spot tonight, so that was nice to see. And for everybody else, thanks for stopping by, thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week for even more Super and even more Metroid. So until then, have a good one, and I will catch you next time. See ya!